What is up, little boo-boo tooties? How are you? I'm good. I have just gotten in from work. Yeah, it was a good little night at the restaurant. Secret Teachings of Jesus took like 40 aeons to upload. So that episode I did actually film last night and I edited, and it just took like, I don't know, overnight and most of the day to upload. I guess it was just one of those weird things. Maybe it was just so thick with content and wisdom that it was like it was almost too much. It almost broke the internet. Well, hey, how y'all doing? So we are here for our energy oracle forecast for the week. Welcome in. I like to use the Oracle of Oddities, editions 1, 2, and 3 for our weekly oracle forecast, where we look at the energetic and spiritual weather for the week ahead. It'll give us an idea of like the conditions that we can expect. And so, yeah, this particular deck, people do ask me about it. It is by Claire Goodchild. Her company is Black and the Moon. But the thing is, like, and you can look at her shop, and she does have a bunch of decks that she keeps in print. But in the beginning of her career, and I'm not sure if she still does this, but she does limited prints. So I don't think that these are available anymore. And this was originally like 3 decks that were all part of like a cohesive work that I just use as one deck. But yeah, so I'm sorry if you are out of luck there, but that's why I use these every week for us. And that way we can share it together. And I also use this deck every week for myself for a weekly reading. And I use this deck with all my clients. So I do book readings, and I am available, theoretically via Zoom. I do, prefer to do them in person. I think most people like to have them done in person, but I could do them via Zoom if you are psychotic or out of the country or like not local. So, yeah, no murders. You'll have to Zoom in, but usually nice people who live close by, they book in person. All right, so far we have had one card already jump out, and so let's just take a look-see. So first off, we have friendship, and so that might come up to the forefront this week. We have just entered into Leo. We are coming out of Cancer season, but until the next full moon, or even I guess until we're out of this 28-day or 30-day lunar cycle, we're still under the influence of Cancer. When a new moon occurs, it affects the sea level of the whole month ahead. So we still have those Cancer themes and Leo themes. And so Cancer is all about our feelings and our emotions and our intimate circles and our family and our tribe and those who are nearest and dearest. And, family healing, for instance, and whatnot. And, we feel, our heartstrings pulled around the people that we care about. Well, Leo, is all about, passion and loyalty and, doing, the courageous right thing. And so, yeah, I don't know, this might be just a big week for really deepening friendships, setting the groundwork for, appreciating your friends, maybe getting to spend time with people that you love, but just, I think, valuing friendships and seeing, some come into your life maybe that you weren't expecting, maybe making new friends, maybe just appreciating and deepening the friends that you have, or maybe just being able to, because I feel like in many, whoever I'm around and listening to, whether it be tables or people around me, it's like we're all sort of like butting heads with somebody in our life at all times. And so maybe there are some people in your workplace or in your life, or maybe it's that family member or whatever, but maybe it's like you finally learn to kind of see eye to eye and come to terms and come to an agreement or something, maybe you finally like kind of like get past the hump, you know? But yeah, I think friendship is going to be something that is prominent for this week. Ooh, okay. I love this. Rebirth. So a spiritual rebirth is at hand, and we are already going through it. And that those themes have been coming up anyway, like consistently. But I feel that there's like like sometimes you get the rebirth card and you're like, oh, it's gonna get intense, and sometimes it does. But I think that things are going well, and I think that things are going to be okay. And so I think that even though rebirthing does pull at different emotions, I think that things are moving in a really positive direction. I just think that we're all going through a lot of emotional initiations right now, because we have different levels of ourself coming into awakening, right? This is the year of the birth of the new self, you know, that next timeline that is starting, where our old life is like falling away and there's like a new self emerging and a new potential and a whole new storyline being written. But, you know, it's not without some initiations right at the beginning. You know, in screenwriting, or in, you know, that kind of even series storytelling, but like storytelling on the screen, there's like this kind of 10-minute introduction where you learn who the character is and you are introduced to the way that their life is in the context of this moment, and who they are within their life in the context of this moment, and who the key players are. And so then shortly thereafter, after about 10 minutes, there's what is called plot point 1. And this is the inciting incident that like turns everything upside down and turns the story on its head and turns the character's life upside down, that sends them, it's like the call to the hero's journey. And so this is the thing that calls them into facing the conflict, facing the challenge. And, you know, it doesn't come without challenges, right? The whole story, the thing that makes the story is the challenges that we meet along the way, that the character does. And so, yes, at the beginning of our story, the birth of the new self, it's like now we're kind of like 10 minutes in, we've gotten through the credits, we've gotten through the introduction of like key players, and now it's like, okay, plot point, things are turned around. Whoa, wait, I didn't see it going in this direction. Ha, surprise. Okay, now we're in the movie. And so now it's like the character has to go on this journey and on this adventure where they come to terms with the outer challenges, but through coming to terms with their inner challenges, right? The hero's journey is the outer expression of how we go out and have our spiritual growth in the world as it's manifested in our life. You know, like, where's our call? Where are we being called to? What are we going to do? How are we going to show up? But the heroine's journey is that subplot. The heroine's journey is the feminine. It's the story within. It's the spiritual development from the inside. It's the emotional journey. It's the journey of the consciousness within. It's that internal growth and the awareness and the consciousness and the awakening and the revelation that happens underneath the experiences. And so one of the things that we were, I believe, talking about in our Secret Teachings of Jesus video last night is that whatever we're creating, like, it all starts at a seed level of the consciousness. And so, I think this was in our recent workshop too. It's like, this is a spiritual issue to overcome. And so you can't, like, when there's a spiritual issue to overcome, life will present physical manifestations of symptoms of chaos and upheaval and, you know, things being amiss. But it's our temptation to want to tackle those problems in a physical, literal, material way and think that that's how we're going to solve them. But really, that's just putting a Band-Aid or like an Advil over the symptoms. But it's not like solving the headache by like rehydrating yourself. So basically, you have to solve a material problem by first solving the spiritual issue that's causing the outer issues are only there to draw attention to the internal issues. So it's like, what is the spiritual issue really at hand? What's at the core of this? It's like, solve that. And then the outer circumstances will either work themselves out, or when you go to take action on the outer circumstances, your efforts will be more effective, or they will be effective, or they will be sustaining, rather than maybe being able to put a Band-Aid on the situation, but like the same problem is still like bubbling under the surface. Also, while we're in between cards, I just want to say that like I guess I like this new phone that I have. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, but it's really irritating with the camera because it's like my 8 Plus, I never had issues with like the sensor like overcorrecting with like autofocus, like the exposure, like no matter how precisely I try to light this room to make it not look like just like an even wash, it just makes up for it. It like fills in all the shadows. It's really irritating to me, especially as a filmmaker and a lighting expert. I'm just like, I'm so fucking pissed. And then like, I feel like I should not look noisy, but because it just has this like weird automatic like facial correction on, I feel like I'm just constantly blurry, and it's constantly like, I don't know what to focus on. I don't know what to focus on. It's just like fucking shit. Like 8 Plus. That 6 phones ago was better than this fucking phone. Okay. Wonderful. I hope I'm not censored on the internet now. Okay. The next card is awareness. And so I feel like maybe some of your relationships can have a real rebirth because you're having a new level of awareness now. As this new birth of self is coming into being, we're more self-aware. We're more aware of others and their level of consciousness. We're more aware of, trying to do our best to avoid our own pitfalls. And so, yeah, we're bringing more awareness to our interactions. And just like the moon's nodes, like Aries is north node, the moon's north node now is in Aries. So it's like where we're going in the future now is like we're showing up as like these new people. This is like the birth of the new self, the identity, how we're showing up, who we are, and how we see ourselves, and how we're taking action out in the world, how we're shining, how we are shining that light, sharing the light. The South Node in Libra is highlighting how we're healing all the ways that we have previously shown up within our relationships to others and to life, right? How have we, we're healing these relationship patterns, or we're getting the ability to, or we have an opportunity to, but it's always up to us. It's not a guarantee. So it's like we have this moment now where we have an opportunity to show up and be a new version of ourselves. But it's because now we have this like new level of awareness. And so we're also healing the patterns of the past and how we used to, interact with people, and how we, really exchanged energy and love and agape love and unconditional love with others. If you're only ever giving to a relationship with expectation of it turning into something or going somewhere or reciprocating in return, I mean, whether that be with parents, with friends, sisters, brothers, lovers, whoever it be, It's like, think about it. If you are showing up in a transactional way with your parents, it's like, oh, I'm performing, I'm living my life according to how you think because I want you to give me that validation and that love. That is transactional. That is conditional, right? That's a binding contract. It's not free. It's not unconditional love. It's not authentic. It's not agape. It's not accepting whatever it is fully and wholly and giving that love either way. It's like, hey, I showed up and I did this and I was a good kid and I did everything I was supposed to and I majored in the thing that you wanted me to, and now you're not giving me the goods back. You're not making this fulfilling enough for having abandoned myself. You know what I mean? So we're showing up now authentically and for real. And because we are showing up for real, we're able to radiate love unconditionally, regardless of whether it is returned, regardless of whether or not it pays off, regardless of whether or not it's ideal. I mean, my dad I've never had the ideal relationship that I want with my dad. I have had the conversations where you try to tell someone like, hey, I would like to have this relationship with you and like, I need you in my life, and he's just been like indifferent and he's busy and he likes to be, in his bubble. And I don't know, I could be distraught over that. I could be angry over it. I have been at times. And now I'm just like, just let him do his thing. If I'm going to force it, it's not going to be natural. It's never going to be what I want it to be anyway. We can make ourselves sit together. We're not going to, I've tried, it's like, at what point am I just like forcing myself on him? That's a soundbite for you. I'm forcing myself on my father. Right? But I just have to be able to forgive him the debt of being my father and let him off the hook and never hold him to the standard of this cookie cutter father archetype that I want him to be, wearing that flannel shirt and going on the camping trip. It's just never happened, and it won't. And that's okay. He doesn't have to be that. That's not who he is. And I don't want to project my expectations on him any more than I want him to project his expectations or judgments on me. And so it's like, yeah, it's not my dream, father-daughter relationship, but it's the one that I have. And it's the one that was assigned to me for this reason, and it's a really helpful workshop to do with Kabbalah class. It's like, it asks you for tikkun healing with your mother and tikkun healing with your father. And tikkun is like, kind of like the Hebrew version of karma. It's like your soul's kind of map and layout and all of its strengths and weaknesses and all of the planned out things that you are going to have happen in this life and the things that you have to balance out and correct from other lives. And so it's always this like unfolding and transcendence and evolution of the soul, and doing this dance of temperance and redemption and bringing the opposing forces within ourselves into greater balance, balancing our vices and making them our virtues. So tikkun healing, there's a lot to it, but like you choose where you're going to live in this life and who your parents are and who your bullies are and who your lovers are and who the people, your enemies, and the people who've hurt you and the people who have championed you, the people who are pivotal. Those were all planned. And so the place where you grew up, and usually the things that trigger you the most, those wounds, those were definitely planned, because those were the inciting like catalysts for the soul growth in this life. Those were the assignments. And so part of a workshop for mother healing is to answer, give 3 to 5 difficult answers as to why you chose your mother. And not because of the nice things that you like about each other. And then 3 to 5 difficult answers of why your mother chose you. And then you do that with your father also. And so it really helps you accept what you've been through, because you can see the grit that you built, the compassion that you gained, all the ways that you were challenged. It was there to grow you. And same for you and them, even especially the difficulties. So it's not to say that it doesn't like condone wrongdoing. It's just to say that that was kind of part of the plan. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because it's like, that covers a lot of really difficult things, difficult experiences. But those serve in different ways as well. And they help you reach others that couldn't be reached otherwise. Yeah, we have very difficult contracts with one another to play out. But I think that this week it's about being able to let go and let people off of the hook for those, and to practice with awareness how we're really showing up now to give without strings attached, and to practice boundaries where boundaries need to be practiced, to learn how to have a healthy balance of both. So yeah, and I think that because we are coming at our relationships with a higher level of awareness, and we're really being rebirthed here, I think that there's a lot of healing and a lot of progress and a lot of potential being sown. Pardon. All right, and let's see, one more card for the week. See what we got. Ooh, release. Oh, amazing. So yeah, release. Release expectations. Let go. Release worries, release insecurities. Whenever I pull this card, I think of these as the bugaboos. And that was a term that was put to me once about the scaries and the insecures and the things that like bug you and get under your skin and leave you feeling like unsettled. And, this covers anxiety, this covers fear, this covers dread, this covers insecurity, this covers expectations, those strings that are attached. And so, yeah, it's like release, forgive these debts of expectation and projection that you have on yourself and on others, so that whatever is here can be genuine and not contractual, not transactional, right? It can be authentic. Do we dare? But yeah, I would say also any worries that you have around, relationship dynamics this week, I'd say release those, let go, give space, give air. And also let's let go of your grievances. Like, don't hold on to grievances, right? Just be able to like not keep score. What if we could not keep score? What if we could like let go of our ego so much that we were able to handle things as they came up, but we also had strong enough boundaries, you know, to put a stop to things before, I don't know, they just got piled up or out of control, you know? What if we were just healthy? What if we could forgive sooner and say no quicker? Or, you know, set that boundary stronger. You know, if we could trust ourselves even deeper and build stronger, truthful trust with others, because there was more authenticity on the forefront. It wasn't coerced. But yeah, let people off the hook. Release your worries. Release your fears. Because I think all in all, everything's going to be really good. I think that the friendship, like, I love this. There's so much blooming here. They're, you know, individual flowers, and they have so much in common. It's like they look the same, but there is like there's this separate thing here between them. So yeah, rebirth, and a rebirth that's happening through the care of awareness and through the bosom of divine protection. So don't forget to pray for your relationships. That came up during the romance oracle reading last week. All right, you guys. Well, I fucking hate this autofocus. It's really distracting, and it's like pulling me out of, like, I can't even look at the camera now because I'm like being pulled out of my thought process. Oh, it's just all so much. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys, I'm about to have some chicken chili, and it's gonna be really good. And I'm gonna have a hot shower, and I'm gonna sleep really well. And I hope y'all have a good rest of your night and day and weeks and months and life. Just hope you're so happy and blessed. Just love y'all so much. All right, good night. Ciao.